lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, not likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a f***ing name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste me, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate me, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me
problem. So if we take what's our problem is, first gonna understand how or what problem we have to solve. Then you're gonna try different approaches with the different time complexities and space complexities, so that you can also even answer this in your interview as well. So let's understand the problem. So in this array, I want to find a very simple thing. I just want to find a simple subarray whose sum is maximum. So this simple subarray can be this array, can be this array. It can be this array also. It can be this array also. So there are multiple subarrays which are possible in this particular array. So I just want to find that subarray whose sum is maximum. Okay, let's take example of one subarray. So remember one thing, the array should be contiguous. What it means? Like, you can choose the array in this way, like -2, -3 and 4. Okay, you cannot choose the array like this, -2, -3, you have skipped the 4 or directly 1. No, this thing is not permissible. You have to do it in this way. This is a contiguous array which you have to find in this. Okay, remember one thing in it. Now how you will find it? Like, suppose I take example of this subarray. This subarray sum is -2 plus -3 plus 4, which will give me -1. It's not the, okay, let's take, this is one subarray. Let's take this subarray, which is 4 plus 1 plus -2 plus 1 plus 5. What it will return? Let's see what answer it is returning. Like, this is, if I'm not wrong, this is -1 also. Okay. Let me clear it so that you can also easily understand it. Let me clear all other things or all other stuffs here. Okay. So we have cleared it out, right? We have cleared all sort of thing here. So what's the problem actually? Suppose if I take this array, and this array sum is 4 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1 minus 2. And it is returning 9. So it means, sorry for myself, it will be 9 as an answer. So how I will get this thing, or how I will find it, like which subarray is giving me the highest answer, and I have to print that answer in my output. Now how you can do it? So to solve this problem, what you can do is, let's take again that array. Now how you will solve this problem? Suppose I have given this array. I think the problem is clear to you. We have to find a sub-array from this array whose sum is maximum, and the condition is this sub-array should be the contiguous. You cannot use the sub-array which is not contiguous. It should be in a straight or you can say in a straight memory distribution. You cannot use like suppose -2, -3, 4, then 5. No, you have to be contiguous. Okay, so -2, -3, 4, 1, -2, 1, 5 and -3. Right, this is the array. So now how we can find the answer? So let's see. Let's talk about our approach one, how we will solve it. Our first approach, how you will solve this problem. So you can solve it in a way, what we can do, we can take one pointer or I. Okay, let's forget about the pointers. I make it even easier for you. What we can do, we can iterate through the complete array. How? Suppose we have taken -2 first, then -2 and -3, then -2, -3 and 4, then -2, -3, 4 and 1, then -2, -3, 4, 1 and -2, then -2, -3, 4, 1, -2 and 1, then till 5 and then till -3. I can find the sum of all the arrays, all the possible sub arrays. Okay, like here, then I will start from here like this. I'm gonna calculate till here. Again I will shift my pointer here and I will again find the sum from here like this. So you are just now seeing the thing, like I will gonna find, or I just find the sum of all the sub arrays. Right, I am finding the sum of all the sub arrays, and then I can choose the one who is having maximum of it. This is the first approach. But what's the problem of this approach? We will see it now when we're gonna code it. So you just got the approach how we can solve it. We're gonna find the sub array sum of all the sub arrays. Okay, we're gonna find the sum of all the sub arrays, all the possible sub arrays in this particular array. Okay, like there can be n number of possible arrays or possible sub arrays in this single array. So we're gonna find the sum of all the possible sub arrays and we're gonna choose which is maximum. Okay, so now what's the problem actually with this approach? We will see it and we're gonna optimize it step by step so that we can also get to the or so that you can also understand what's the role of Kadane's algorithm and its importance also. Okay, so how we gonna code it? So first of all, we will write the maximum. Let's take example like maximum is 0. Okay, let's take an example like I don't know which is the maximum here. Let's maximum is 0 and array given to me is this one which is written above, -2, -3, 4, 1, -2, 1, 5 and -3. Right, this is the array, this is the maximum. Now what we're gonna do? I will just erase it so that it can be easier for you guys to understand the approach, all the other steps. Okay. I will take 2 pointers here. Okay, I will take 2 pointers here. Let's suppose I take I pointer here and j pointer here. Okay, I will take 2 pointers here and we're gonna travel till end of it. Okay, I am taking 2 pointers, I pointer and j pointer, and I will just travel till the length of this array and we're gonna sum all the particular elements. Okay, and when there will be larger sum, we're gonna update our sum variable. Okay, we're gonna update our sum variable when we will get some greater value than our previous sum, we're gonna update it. Like how you can understand it? Suppose in the first iteration it is -2, then I will check with my maximum. Suppose maximum is 0 here. Okay, with first iteration I got -2. Okay, so -2 is actually lesser than our maximum. Okay, so we're gonna avoid it. Now let's do it for the second iteration. Now -2 and -3. Again discarded. Okay. Third iteration. -2, -3, +4. Now it is again -1. No change. Okay. With fourth iteration, what we gonna do? -2, -3, -2, -3, +4 and 1. Now it will be 0. Again no problem. Let's talk about the fifth iteration. Now -2, -3, +4, +1, -2. Again it will give me the answer, which will be -2. No change. After that I will get 1. Okay, like -2, -3, +4, +1, -2, +1, which will give me -1. Similarly, in the seventh, I will get -2, -3, +4, +1, -2, +1, +5. And when I will get this thing, it will return me the answer 4. Now I will update my max to 4. So similarly, we will carry forward till -3. Okay. Then we will update our pointer. We will update our I and j pointer to -3. Now in the second chance or in the second pass, my I is here and my j is also here. Now again j will go till the end and check the sum, like we have just done previously. So by using these two pointers, we're gonna find the sum of all the possible sub arrays which is present in this single array. So how we gonna code it now? Very much simple. You can do it in a very easy way. Let me show you. Okay. So what we have just done this, we will take one for loop. Let's take it as an I pointer, and we will gonna run it from 0 to length of this array, and we will take j pointer, which will start from where our I location is, because we are starting from where our I location is. Okay, so it will start from I till the length of this array. And what we will do, this will iterate, but with this iteration we will find this sum. Let's take sum is 0. Now we will require one more loop for calculating this sum. So I will write one more loop for k in range I, 0 this time, because I have to calculate the sum from I to j. Okay, so that I can get, suppose my j is here and my I is here, so I will calculate this entire sum, -2, -3, 4 and 1, right? So that's why I've just created one loop which will run from I to j. Okay, or for k in range I to j. Now with this complete iteration, what we will do, we will update our sum. Sum will be equal to sum plus array of k. Okay, we will get our sum. Now after this step, what we will get? We will get our sum. Now we will check, or we will check for the maximum, right? We will check like whether this particular sum is maximum or not. Okay, so how we will check like it is maximum or not? Suppose I got the sum from here. Now I will check for its maximality. So if I take, suppose I take it as max, as I change the variable name to this. So max as is equal to max sum and maxes. So what this particular line will do, it will check out the maximum between this sum and that particular maximum value, which is right now. Basically what we are doing, we are checking this particular thing. we are checking for the maximum. Okay, like we are checking like whether this particular element is maximum from the sum. If max is greater than sum, then there is no problem. But when sum is greater than max, then we will update our max to sum. This particular thing we have to do. So see, that thing we are just doing here, okay, in this line. So we will get our maximum now and we will return our answer. Got the thing? It's a very simple approach. Now let's we have just papered it down so we can easily now code it. So let's move on to the code part and let's see how we will code this solution, and then I will just point out the problem with this solution. Okay, so now we will come back to our lead code. Okay, so it's a very natural video, you can understand it. This is my virtual VS code where I just coded this all approaches. I will show it one by one. Okay, so let's go to our Chrome and let's go for maximum subarray. Okay, I'm switching my screen. Okay, I think we are back to our lead code. So I am just I have just provided this problem below in the description. You can just go there and you can just go to this problem and you can solve together. Okay, so this is the problem of lead code. So now how we will solve it? Okay, let me increase the pixel of font size so that you can also easily see it. 20. Okay, now we will solve it. How? First, what we have done, we have just got the array. The name of the array is nums, and what we will do, we will create one maximum, max, which will be 0. Now I will run the loop for in the range from 0 to length of nums, because num is the name of the array here. Then we will run the loop again from I to the length of nums. Okay, then what we will do? Then we will calculate the sum from I to j. From I to j, I will calculate the sum, and sum plus array of or the nums of I, like this. Now you can also write this statement. This statement is pretty much big. You can do it like this way also. It will also works the same. Okay, this you can do. So like this, what we have just done, we have just calculated the sum now. Now we will check for our sum, like whether it is correct or not. So how we will do it? We will use max here, and then we will use our max function to check out whether this thing or max is the greater, and after this we will return the max. Let's see whether our answer is correct or not. So while we will run it, it is giving me the wrong answer. Let's see where is the problem. Okay, so what I have just done, I have just created one num here, and okay, so I don't think there is any problem with this code. Let me again cross check. So I just started from 0 to length and then again from j to the length of nums, right? Then we just created one sum which is equal to 0. Then we have run a range from k to this, and sum plus array. Okay, I have just written I. We will have to add k here, because the thing is we are summing the values of array. If I will write I here, it will sum from that particular where the I will be. So here the k will come. So let's check again. Okay, so there is again one problem. Let's see. So it's giving me that when the num is 1, it's giving me 0 as input. So what we can do for this? To counter that problem, we will just calculate the maximum of the nums here. Now let's run. So it's giving me the problem in my third case now, which is, so okay, we are getting the wrong answer here. So how we will fix it? So there is one problem or one mistake which we have just done here. So let's try to find out, or let's try to figure out which mistake we have done here. Okay, so let's come back to our approach again, and let's take this case or test case here. Okay, our test case which we have just in which we are just getting this error is 5, 4, -1, 7 and 8. Okay, and it hardly matters whether you write max or you take a minimum value, maximum value or 0 here. It hardly matters, but for the better sense we are just taking it as a maximum value of this array. Okay, now let's try to figure out what problem or the what particular error we have just done it. Okay, so this is our test case in which we are getting error, and the error is, I will just tell you the method to just counter any sort of error like this in future. So suppose our output coming here, our output is 15 and expected one is 23, right? Pretty much good, right? So this is thing. Okay, this is the error. So just write it and just try to figure out what we have just, or where we have just done the problem. So let's start from here iteration. Let's take I here and let's take j here for the first sense. So here, when we talk about sum, so till how much time this loop will run? This loop will run till here only, like 5 plus 4 plus -1 plus 7, and it will give me the solution as 15. So you will say that why we haven't taken this thing? Because we have only written here to run till j, and as we all know, it will not run completely till j. So what we will have to do? We will have to change this till j plus 1 in our approach. This is the problem, and this is the fix to this problem. Okay, so now what we will do? We will just fix this problem there, and we will see the results. You will be surprised. Okay, so what we will do, just one change and run, and you will notice your all test cases have been passed. And let's submit it. So when you will click on submit, it is judging all the test cases of yours, and after a judgment round, here the problem is time limit exceeded. So never try to do this sort of thing, and if you will do it, here the constraints are, you will have to find more optimized solution. It is not the optimized solution, as for the last test case the time limit exceeds. So why this problem is coming? Let's figure out. Your time limit will be exceeded, so we will have to find out more concise solution for this. Okay, so when we talk about the time complexity, your test cases will all are running, but the time complexity which it is taking is O of NQ. Why? Because we are using 3 for loops, and that too nested. So because of this nested nature, this sort of problem is coming. Got my point? So because of this nested nature, this problem is coming. So how you can do this in a more optimized way? So you can do it in a more optimized way when you talk about the time complexity. Let's try to figure out the solution which can solve this problem in O of n square. Now what can be the solution for this? Let's take again that array, that same array we will take. Okay, let's take the same array, or let me consider the same array which we discussed above, which is nothing but this array. minus 2 minus 3 4 1 minus 2 minus 3 4 and 1 minus 2 1 5 and minus 3. This is the array which we will take. Okay, and we will try to figure out the solution from here. So now we will try to find out more optimized way, or the more optimized way than our previous approach to solve the same problem. Now what we will do in this approach, now get to know one thing. Okay, now we will understand first the intuition of this problem, how we can solve it. Okay, so you have noticed one thing, when we are calculating the sum of it, we are starting I and j from here, and we are just iterating the j over and over. So why I am doing this? Like when I iterate it to here, so I am calculating the sum completely again and again I am completing the sum. Like let's take this case. Okay, let's take this case. Minus 2 I have taken. Okay, minus 2, then my j will here, then I will again calculate the sum, minus 2 minus 3, then my j will be here, then minus 2 minus 3 4. So why I am again and again calculating? Instead of this, what I can do, I can store this sum of these two in a variable. Let's take example of this variable as sum, and then when I will move forward, I can add in it, then this will become my new sum, and then when I just come to here, I will just do it in here, and this will become my new sum, then sum minus 2. So like this, I will not have to again and again calculate the sum from starting till the j is. So what I will just create one variable and will store the sum there. Okay, so let's solve this problem. So by using this thing, or by doing this thing, what I will get the rid of that inside loop or inside for loop. Okay, so how we will do it? Let's take an example again. Let's take maximum as max of the array. It is a better approach to take maximum rather than any sort of thing here. You can even take the minimum, but I will say you can also take maximum. So now what we will do, for I in range 0 to length of array stands for ARR. Okay, and inside that for j in range I to length of array. This will not change, this will remain the same. So where the change is, let's figure out this, where the change is. It is very critical to understand this, where will be your change. Okay, so let's try to figure out where will be your changes. Okay. So now let's figure out the solution again. So in our previous code, what we have done, we have written the sum here and we are just updating it. Instead of this thing, what we will do, I have to create one sum variable. So if I create some variable here, let's understand sum equal to 0. Then I will again have to create that loop to calculate the sum. So instead of this thing, what I will do, I will declare the sum variable now here. Like sum is equal to 0. And with every sort of iteration, what I will do, I will increment the sum. Okay, sum is equal to sum plus ARR of j. Okay, we will do this like this, and after this, after writing this particular thing, we will again compare the thing, like maxes is equal to, now remember one thing, this comparison will be done inside. Okay, maxes is equal to max of sum and max. Okay, like this we will gonna do this problem, we're gonna counter this problem, and then what we will do, we will just return the max of s. Very much simple. Okay, very much simple, no need of that inside loop. Let's see the solution, or let's see the how we can solve it again on the lead code. Let's go to the lead code again. So it is giving me the time limit exceeded. Okay, no problem. What the change is, we are just removing the sum from here, and then we are writing the sum here. Okay, sum is I'm writing the sum here, and then I don't need now this particular loop. Instead, what I will do, I will update the sum by nums of here j. Okay, and then it will compare the thing and it will return me the answer. Let's see again. Let's see first it passes the test cases or not. It is important. So let's talk about the test cases. So it's saying that okay, you have attempted to run code too soon. Please try in few seconds. Okay, so till this particular thing comes, till particular things come, first let's click on submit and see submit can be done or not. So it is judging up the solution. It is judging up. Again the time limit exceeded and the number of test cases it passed. Let's till this problem persists, what we will do, we will see it in our VS Code. Okay, completely in the VS Code. Let's go to our VS Code screen. Let's see. Okay, like, share and subscribe so that I can purchase the premium lead code pro. Okay, so what we have to do, same, we will just create the max, and then for I in range we will run it from 0 to length of ARR, and then for j in range add to len of array. Now remember one thing here, we will create the sum here because with every iteration, every one iteration till here, we will again start from here and then we will require the sum as 0 again. Okay, so what we will do, ARR of j, we will do it here like this, and then we're gonna check for the max value. So max will be equal to maximum of sum comma correct. I think like this we will do it, and then we're gonna return after all of this or all this thing. What we will do, we will just print the max and see how it will work. So when I will run this Python code, you can see I got my answer 7. Why? Because I just changed one test case, it will be 1. Okay, now let's run this again. Got the same answer 9. Okay, so it's running perfectly fine. So we reduced the time complexity like to O of n square. Now the actual challenge comes. We have reduced the time complexity again to O of n square. Now we will have to reduce it again to more precise or O of n. So now the time persist or the time problem is we will have to reduce the time complexity to O of n. So now how we will reduce it? Now actually the main game of Kadane's algorithm come. So this is the problem. Like you have also seen on the lead code, we have seen the problem time limit exceed. Why this thing is coming? Because as you can see, I have one follow up. Like I will have to do it in O of n. So in this approach, this time complexity is O of n square as I am using 2 for loops. Now I have to figure out a way so that I can find this solution in O of n. It's even more optimized one. So how you can do it? Let's go again to the VS Code or in our pad so that we can figure out the solution. Now, to encounter this problem, a person named as Kadane has created its algorithm to solve this problem. Okay, to solve this problem. So how you can do it? Suppose you have got, what's the idea behind this approach? Let's see. So now I will just this thing we have done. We've also done the optimized approach. Now this is your Kadane's approach. Okay. So what's the idea behind this approach? Let's understand this thing. Okay, and let's take the idea of the test case which is not containing the -1, it's containing the 1, so that we can also get the answer as 9 from this approach. Okay, so what is this particular thing I have just written? I have just written the thing that this approach contains three major things. Okay, this thing or this approach contains three major things. Three things you have to remember when you are talking about the Kadane's algorithm here. First thing is maximum, second is sum, and the third is the comparison of sum is lesser than 0 or not. And why we have just done this? Let's see. What's our array look like? So my array looks like -2, -3, 4, 1, -2, 1, 5 and -3. Now what's the approach behind this or what's the idea behind the Kadane's algorithm? So just remember one thing. Suppose I started from here I and I am just adding the things. Now -2. Now at Kadane's algorithm what we see is like negative elements contributes nothing towards the sum. That's the idea. Negative elements contributes nothing towards the sum. So whenever I will get the negative element, I will change my sum to 0. Let's take the case here. We move forward. Now it is -3 and suppose my max, we will initialize the maximum with the very minimum value. Okay, we will initialize the maximum with the minimum value. This is the idea. This you have to do. This is the first step. We will initialize the maximum with the minimum value. Then we will start our searching, like it will be -2. Now as here at maximum I am having -3 as the value, as it is the minimum value of this array. So -2 is greater than -3. Okay, -2 is greater than -3, so we will change the max to -2. But when we talk about the sum will be 0. Why? Because at Kadane's algorithm we will check, like whenever we will get the negative value, we will again or we will just completely dissolve that sum to 0. Whether it is any value, then also the sum will be 0, because at Kadane's algorithm we focus on a thing that whenever you will get a negative value, it will contribute nothing towards your sum. Okay, similarly, now you have came to -3. Again, we will check whether it is lesser than or greater than 0. So it is lesser than 0, so it will contribute nothing, then sum will be 0 again. Okay, and it is -2, which is a maximum value, so it will be, the max value will not change. Let's move again to the next thing. Now it is on 4. Okay, so now it is on 4, so the sum is 4. And it will now not become 0 because it is greater than 1 or it is greater than 0. Now the sum is greater than 0. So also when we will check it with the maximum, then 4 is greater than -2. So that -2 will become 4. Got my thing? Okay, now next. Now it has arrived on 1. So 1 is greater than 0. Okay, now okay, 4 plus 1 because it will increment the sum and it is coming out to be 5. Now this 5 is greater than 0. Then what we will do? We will again update the max. So max will become now 5. Okay, what's next? -2. Now my sum will become 5 minus 2, which will equal to 3. Now max is 5, so it will remain 5. This will not change. 5 is correct. 5 it will be remain and 3 will be discarded. Now let's come to the sum again. Now my loop is here. We have also covered this now on 1. 3 plus 1 will be 4. 4 is lesser than 5, so it will 5 is again 5 will remain as it is. Now we will go to the next point. Okay, at 5. So 4 plus 5, it will become 9. So 9 is greater than 5, so my 5 will become 9. Okay, you are seeing the approach. Then it is -3. sum becomes 9 minus 3, which becomes 6. So it will contribute nothing, as 9 will become as it is, and it will return the sum, or the maximum sum is 9. So got the thing how it is actually working. This is the Kadane's algorithm, or by using this algorithm you can solve this problem in big O of n times and the space complexity of O of 1. Okay, this is space complexity and this is your time complexity. Now let's figure out the code part of it, how you can code it. So remember the 3 steps. First will be your max initializations. Second will be your sum problem, and third will be your comparison of sum. Whether it is lesser than or greater than, sum should be lesser than, greater than 0. Okay, this is the very important condition. Now let's solve this. First we will again write max here, and what we will do, we will initialize it. We will just initialize this thing. We will initialize this thing to the minimum value of array. Okay, and now what I will do, sum will be 0. Initially I will just make them sum as 0, and I will run the for loop in range to 0 to length of array. Correct. Let's go even further and try to understand it better way. So now inside what I will do, I will just, what I will do, so let's come to the problem. What we have just done, we are just iterating it one by one. So at -2, first we are checking whether it is greater than or equal to the sum part. Okay, so we can do like this. We can first we can check also, and then we can do it. Or what we can do, let's see this again one, how to do this. So as you can see, the max I have written here. Okay, now let's take example. Why I have written this? Because the value will be added now. So how you will add? So you will add like this, same, and then you will check like if your sum become lesser than 0, then change the entire sum to 0. Got my point? And then what we will do, we will update the max as maximum of sum and max, and then what we will just return after this code gets complete, we will return the max. Very much simple to be solved. So in one particular loop we have got our answer. Okay, so let's code it down and let's finally kick that big particular moron. Let's see how we can do it. So big bad is here. We have done our calculations and we have figured out our solution. So max will be first. Let's take example, or the minimum of the array. We have just done it like nums is the array, so we will just write here sum is 0 for I in range, and this will run till the length of the nums, and then it will run till here. And then what we will do, let's figure it out. We will just add on this sum till nums of I, and then we'll check like if sum is lesser than 0. Okay, if sum is lesser than 0, then sum will become 0, and if doesn't happen, then max is equal to max of sum max, and then we will return with the max. Or okay, so like this you will get our solution. And let's try to find out now. Now it's accepted again, and let's see this time. So again it's giving me the wrong answer in the case, so it's giving me the output expected as -1. Okay. Okay, so it is okay. Where I am missing the problem, where I done the error. Okay, so I just taken minimum of s, sum is here. Okay, if sum is lesser than, let's take it as minimum of nodes to pass it on. Okay, we will not do it because it will just give me an error. So where the problem is, let's see. Like these two test cases has been passed. I will have to, when I will just submit it, it is giving me an error. Let's see how we can fix it. Okay, so 0 as it's expected -1. Okay, so nums is 0 but it is expected -1. Okay, let me figure the solution out from it. Where is my problem? Let's see. Okay, what I can do, instead of incrementing it first I can check for the condition. Let's do it in a way. Suppose I first check for the condition and then, okay, first I am checking for the condition, then I can maybe solve it. Okay, so we can do this side of approach. Okay, let's try to solve this thing again as our current sum is here, and let's again try to submit it and see what we get. So finally we have just solved it. So what the problem is actually with the solution or with our approach, let me correct out on my pad. Okay, so what was the problem? Let's see here. Okay, so the problem is we are actually incrementing it without knowing that first we will have to check the conditions. Okay, so that's the error. First we will have to check the condition. So why we are just doing it, let's try to understand it. So we are just doing this because you can even see here. First let's take the case that of -1 here, even -1 also. Okay, so what we have just written, like max is my -1 here, right now it's -1, and then my sum is 0. So first you will check whether my sum is lesser than 0 or not. If I will check here that -1 is lesser than 0, then this condition is getting satisfied. So when this condition will get satisfied, like -1 is lesser than 0, it will change the sum to 0 again. And then by using this command, by using this particular thing, my sum will become -1, and when we're going to check here, it will return me the -1. But when I will first increment it, then what will happen? It will remain -1. Okay, and then we will check again, and then it will become sum. So my sum will become 0. And then when you're going to find the maximum between 0 and -1, then it will return me the 0. Why -1? So that's the problem. So that's why we will first check for the condition, and then we will going to update this. So it's a very bit adventurous thing on this particular day too. So but we have just eventually cracked it. So this is the Kadane's algorithm. I just created the notes for all you guys. You can just take a look forward on it, and you can just see this. Okay, this is the particular thing, or this is the particular notes of this thing. Okay, now how you can print the maximum sum sub array. So there is one code which I just prepared for you, how you can just print it. So it's very easy. Suppose the problem came like you have to print that particular array. So how you will print that array? That I know that answer is 9 here, at that particular previous case which we had discussed, but from by combining which particular elements you are giving me the 9 answer. Let's see this again. Okay, so what the changes which you will be doing. So how you will going to print this? So what we can do it in a way. Suppose I have taken my max as minimum of the array. Okay, so it's a follow-up question to print the thing. Suppose I have taken minimum of the array and in the max, and then sum is 0. Okay, so it's just an add-on question. I have taken an empty list. Let's take an example like MA is my empty list. I have taken an empty list here, and I have taken array start. I have taken array start as -1 and array end as -1. Why I am just taking this? Because I will have to keep track of where my starting and end point is to find the perfect solution of it. Okay, so then again the Kadane's one I have to do 0 till length of nums. Okay, and then I will check for the first condition, like whether my sum is lesser than 0. If it is lesser than 0, then my sum will be 0, and if it is not, then what I have to do, I have to just do the sum, this thing, and number 5. Let's take example like the array, instead of array it is nums, like this. Okay, so like this we are just doing and it's just printing. Now where is the catch? The catch or the change is first of all here before this line. So to keep a track of it, what I will do, I will just check like if my sum is equal to 0, then what you have to do, you have to give the start to I, and then what I have to do, when I will reach till here, now I will do a slight before or very small change again. I will check for the sum, like when my sum will be lesser than 0, then I will change my sum to 0, and with that what I will do, I will just clear my array, because if I am getting this of no use, the element which in the array is of no use, so I will just clear them. Let me more give you precise one now. If again for the next condition, if my sum is greater than max, then what I have to do, I will have to update the max. So max will be like this. You can find the solution of it in a very good way possible. Okay, so like this you can counter any problem of coding. So that's all in today's site. So I will give you this code in my GitHub repository after this day. So if you want this particular exploration in more detail, just comment me up. If you want this particular thing, or if you want this particular solution in a more precise way, you can just ping me up so that I can create a video on this particular thing in the day 3 or day 4, day 5. So ping me up what you want. If you want the explanation of this particular follow-up question, to just give a complete detailed explanation of it, so I can create a video on it again, and I can just share it on a YouTube on my next day series. So till then, this is Ashwardhan signing off. I hope you enjoyed this particular adventure to understand the Kadane's algorithm and the mechanism behind it. So it's a really nice talking to you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, stay watching, stay safe. Bye.